Hi guys, Joe here from Rufioh. I've got my good friend here, Jamiethekid00.
What is up, guys?
Thought I'd get him in for a nice little interview. I wanted to discuss some things off topic because I'm pretty sure most of the questions you get are like Yu-Gi related and that kind of thing, like when you're out now.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely been about like 3 years since I did a proper interview for a channel.
So hopefully something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And probably you've changed a lot in that time as well.
Definitely,
yeah. So yeah, we just wanted to go through that. I did want to also get some non-Yu-Gi related questions for you as well because I feel like it's a little reach going.
A lot of people that ask about what I do, but like there's no kind of correct database on where I am, what I'm doing at the moment, why I'm on break, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
So it'll hopefully provide a bit of insight for that. The more I think about this and the more I think about the questions you've asked me, it's probably going to see a duplicate upload on my channel. So actually, this could serve as a really handy PSA.
Could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we won't wait much longer. We'll get stuck in. So, we'll start off just asking about who you are.
So, who I am today...
For the people who are. People who don't know me.
This is a two-form answer. So, for who I am today, I'm the washed-up ex-Yugituber that almost everyone has heard of, but almost no one knows. And henceforth referred to as Jamiethekid00. I'm part of an old guard of YouTubers during the kind of second-generation boom from like 2012 to 2014, where an age in which entities like Pos Joker and Waffles had just started to really die a death or were beginning to re-peak. And really you had that class divide between Simply Unlucky at his already 150,000 subscribers.
And he's still going strong.
He's still going strong massively, but he was kind of separate from the community. You then had your entity, like your big titans were Waffles and of course Robbie Cole, who's had another resurgence and is coming through now. But otherwise your biggest YouTubers in the UK in our space were folks like, of course, myself. It was a constant duel between me and iPokemon dueling for that top 25,000 subscriber spot. Not really all that big, with what was kind of upstarts that ended up becoming household names and fading away again in the forms of folks like Yugioh. Farfa came onto the scene as Glasgow Yugioh.
Classic.
Of course, back when he was a small fry. That was that era. Since then, I went on to have my rise and my fall into kind of semi-retirement as my enjoyment of the game was waxed and waned.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm now that kind of washed-up retiree, the old man of YouTube.
Giving me some sage advice on how to run the channel, giving me tips here and there. Not too much, of course. So we'll move on a little bit. We'll go into, let's talk about your events.
Yes.
So I know you've had one or two like good little runs, and I still think you do pretty well overall. You make sure you get that top in each season so you can go to Euros.
Yeah, precisely that, yeah. Or at least kind of squeeze into the bracket.
For sure.
I always refer to it that I've never missed a Euros, I've never missed an invite, and almost every year I've got my invite by accident.
Yeah.
It's usually been that I've like trolled the regionals and thought, oh, suddenly I've topped. Or, for example, I thought I chased down an invite for like a whole year and finally thought I'd gotten it, whereas actually I'd gotten it 9 months prior at YCS before. Without realising, because I came like 96.
It's better than doing what I do and rock up and that to finish 500th and get your drop down.
Yeah, exactly that.
Get it done early, you can actually plan it.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of my my achievements and accolades, and then we'll kind of come into my favourite events, because I know you wanted to ask about that as well. Achievements and accolades, my biggest kind of failing and my fall down for me is that I've never topped an international premier event.
Okay, sure.
And that's the thing that still eludes me, and honestly it's probably the only thing that keeps me still going and sweating into YCSs. While I have 3 nationals tops, my first, my second and my 5th national that I attended, all of which with like kind of headline decks that I became known for. That was they were the big ones.
Yeah.
Which makes me happy. All the times I've really committed. I have yet to top a YCS. I had one season last year where not all of the decks went recorded, but I day 2'd 3 out of 5 of the YCSs I attended and lost either round 9 or round 10. The most frustrating of which I never actually reported on, being YCS London 2018. In which I played Burning Abyss in the Dark World or FTK format, in which case I went X2 into day 2, sending home a friend of mine on the last day, whom I tested with, and then sending home one of my old testing partners as well as competitor JY Sharif, who everyone will know as a household name in the UK. Then going
representing MK.
Yeah, representing Milton Keynes, same locals. Then going on to play against the eventual winner of YCS London, who did defeat me, and like I feel like that was a winnable game because I threw away game 1 where I misplayed just because of fatigue. because it's still very fatiguing even when you show up to the next day.
But it's not a dishonourable way to go out. I mean,
No,
if you're going to go out with someone, you want to go out to win it, right?
and to my defence, I won my round 11, so I went into that 8-3, hoping for a solid tiebreaker. I think I actually came in the high hundreds, which is kind of wild that X3 pushes you that far down.
It shows the level needed to for these events, right?
Yeah. So I mean, that's my kind of accolades. Of course, you will see my interview on Farfa's channel with Cosmo that I debuted with, which was like a deck that I took to a format where it had no right being played. Still managed to go X2 into day 2. Unfortunately, losing one of my rounds because I drew my Tree Draco components. But again, another fun deck that I wanted to take to the Premier.
And if you do well with a deck like that, you do well with anything, right?
Exactly that. In terms of favourite events, I have a soft spot for my first ever UK YCS, which was YCS Brighton. It was such an exotic location, being that it was December.
Okay, so it's not even a good place to go out at that stage because it's December.
So it was 2011, it was deserted. We stayed in the grottiest motel, and probably the highlight of the event was, or like the only main memory I have is like one of my friends from Wales getting garroted with a sock, and then about 20 minutes later us trying to fall asleep to the sounds of a German man getting bottled in the street.
Nice.
Because our window wouldn't shut all the way, so all we could hear was like confused incoherent German and like a bottle smashing and threatened sounds. Like we knew we were in the ends in Brighton, like, it was not a good area. But otherwise, like a lot of my events will blur into one because they're all fantastic opportunities. Anyone who hasn't attended a major event, be it their nationals, or be it their local or kind of nearest country over YCS, I wholeheartedly encourage you to just gather a good group of friends around you, play whatever you want because honestly the experience pays for itself.
Yeah.
The event is almost secondary unless you are a real sweaty competitive player.
You don't really remember a lot of what you play, do you? I mean, like unless it's like a really big like
You
thing.
could name an event and I could tell you the deck I played.
Really?
And I could probably tell you why.
See, I could probably remember what I played, but I couldn't tell you how most of it went.
Yeah,
And apart from anything like
I probably couldn't tell you how it went other than the overarching, but I could probably tell you what I played and why.
way more attentive than I am.
Yeah,
But then again, I don't really count.
Yeah, so there is that. We dwelled on that for a little while.
We have, yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll tell you what, we'll go back to where we were before. So talk a little bit about the channel and where you're at now.
Yes.
If you're happy to discuss.
Yeah, so I know this is going to be the pain point because obviously the beginning of 2019 was the resurgence of Jamiethekid00 and the real return to form of the channel in a better, stronger, higher production value than you've ever seen before. Unfortunately, that wasn't something that was sustainable. Because of my career shift in the kind of golden age that I was referencing, I was halfway producing content because I was in university, so I was on reduced hours, had a lot of free time on my hands, and let's be very honest, AdSense was very good on YouTube in 2013.
Back in the day.
I produced content to live. I didn't have to work during uni because I was a YouTuber almost as a part-time job, and I enjoyed it. It was a hobby, and it got to the progression point where it could pay for me to eat. It could pay to self-sustain my hobby. As I've moved into full-time work and become a career individual, especially in my current role, which we will discuss, it has become unfeasible for me to play the amount of Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to. And also as my priorities have shifted, as my love for the game has waxed and waned, like it's had peaks and troughs, definitely, and you can see that in my content. That's kind of why you'll see this ebb and flow. Currently, I am on long-term hiatus, which has been referred to a fair few times as a career-ending quit. To be honest, with the future of the channel, I'm really not sure where that will take us. There was an experiment in collaboration with Konami, which quite frankly I'm not consistent enough to upkeep, and respectfully that's why other entities have now come to the forefront. So I wholeheartedly hold myself to account for that. But quite frankly, it's not a position where I can make a sacrifice for my personal time to the degree to which is required, which is pretty much an entire evening and maybe an evening and a half per video I produce, which is more than the rate at which I want to produce content, because I want to do daily uploads. The time required is just more than I can provide. And with respect, if we look back at my old portfolio, I'm a deck builder at heart. I was always kind of...
They're the most time-consuming videos.
Precisely. You have to produce, learn your theory, and then commit to actually collecting the cards and producing it.
The costs.
At cost. There was one point in which I had the library, which I sold for thousands of pounds. Because every deck profile I kept, nothing was ever borrowed. But understanding where that's going forwards, with formats becoming more and more linear, you can really only ever crank out one of maybe 4 or 5 deck profiles, all of which are going to be very similar to something you've already seen before. I can't just go, here's an upcoming deck, because chances are someone's already talked to me. And it's very easy for me to moan and say, hey, like I want to do this, but Sam or Simo have already done it before, but quite frankly they have. And that leaves me in a position where I don't feel as though I'm innovative enough to produce content outside of the box of someone that's already doing it better than me.
The quality that they're uploading it as well is just insane.
Yeah. And again, that's not a win. That's genuinely, I have great respect for them, and they're in a position in which they can produce it better.
Sure.
Farfa will do far better streaming. Sima will do far better informative content, and Sam can do far better comedic content.
Yeah.
And high energy. Whereas I produced something that was tailored to an offering that already existed in the golden age, which was that super competitive, thoughtful YouTube. Not high energy, high theory, high quality content in terms of theory, in terms of mental.
And the shift does seem to be more towards the entertainment side now, rather than necessarily.
So when I can be like, what's good YouTube? I can give you that big energy and I can really go into it. That's not the type of content I want to create. I want to have that almost podcast vibe. And while I've dabbled, and we've talked about this at length, with the idea of like a Yugi cast, I just, again, don't think that the time production balance is there for me to produce that content just yet. It's not incentivized, and as someone who considers themselves quite selfish with their time, like I won't show up to some of these locals unless I'm absolutely feeling it. I don't see the
And ultimately, you know, you're a bit older than you were back then. See, your life commitments change. Like, time goes on, your bills get a little bit more, everything gets a bit more expensive.
Yeah, so it's a very deep answer. Some of the other questions will be a lot shorter. But this was the big one that I needed to focus in on and really express to you guys why I made those decisions and why, while content was fantastic for a good while, it fell off.
So, I appreciate you taking the time to discuss that with me, because I know that that's something that's quite close to your heart.
Yeah.
And it was something that I did want to bring up here to give the viewers who are familiar with your content.
Yeah, it's a point of great guilt. I'm constantly upset by it, but I understand it for what it is, and after a good while and a good few months, I kind of came to respect that I have quit.
Essentially.
I am on very long hiatus with no perceivable end.
But of course, you'd much rather be in a position where if you're going to put out that content, you want to be putting out the best quality content.
Exactly, yeah. I could produce content on a daily basis and kind of do what I used to do. I get home from locals and go, hi guys, tournament report. It's the same deck I played last week, but I changed one card. For a solid month, I played Sky Striker and I didn't change a thing, even though it topped events and there was new innovations on it. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And that's not the content you'd want. I could produce it, people would watch it, I'd get 1,500 reviews every time, even if no one ever comes back. But it ruins my good name. It's like, oh, Jamie's past it.
Yeah. And Jamie is not past him.
Oh, he's definitely past it, but I don't want to come out with that.
Doesn't want to admit it to himself yet. Cool, well, so we'll move on to something a little bit more exciting, shall we say. Less down in the depths a bit. So we'll go on to, let's talk about your favourite decks and your favourite formats.
So people will always criticise me for like toxicity to that, because of course my favourite, this is met with a lot of kind of groans, but my favourite format will always be the Trinity format of 2012 Nationals and 2012 Euros, which was of course the Macro Rabbit wind-up Insecta environment, where everything had just gotten mixed up by Chaos Dragons coming in. I have a soft spot for it because that came with my first regional top, first regional attended, first regional topped, Macro Rabbit. First national attended, first nationals topped, Macro Rabbit. Top 8, which is, I feel, a strong showing. It's always very begrudgingly that I was one gauze away from a trophy.
Gauze.
Top 4.
Still gives me stress today.
Exactly that. The gauze mentality, you never forget. People today are
lowest
still
attack
attacking
first.
lowest to top. Because you'll get gauze and you'll lose, because it's a 3.
Yeah.
So there's that. I still very much enjoyed Mermail format. I really enjoyed the version before the Nationals I topped with that, which was the almost kind of Mermail economics, before TS was a real thing. When TS was a thing, I remember now, when Undyne was the card you played, and you played Duloran and things like that to really get advantage engines together. I also really enjoyed Dragon Ruler format and Hat format that followed after that. So Dragon Ruler was very rewarding in the mirrors. Unfortunately, it was very toxic for everything else.
Yeah.
Because I was playing at a very high competitive level there, I was playing at the top of my game. I respected like the Dragon mirrors because there were so many cool innovations of like the Armory Armo TK and kind of Crimson Blader mentalities and the value to Max C's and like playing the Corseska to get to that Crimson Blader. Like there was so much teeny tiny interaction that like good players were very rewarded in that almost Teledad-like mirror.
Sure.
Similarly, hat format, I feel as though I had a testing Trinity, and we're absolute gods at that. There's actually a video of me playing that at one of the Brotherhood events that I unfortunately bubbled out of, which is a big killer.
Brotherhood, some of the finest though, right?
Yeah, 100%. And then we can never forget some of the Shadol formats. Almost every Shadol format I thoroughly enjoyed, and that was kind of like my last favourite format. I don't think since then I've ever had a format where I'm like, I actually really love this game.
Yeah.
As much as I did since then. Ever since it's kind of had a falling off. And Link Monsters, while they've been a lot of fun, they've pushed the game beyond a ceiling in terms of combos. I can't really Rain Man through anymore.
Yeah.
As I say to people, I lean in, I go, I'm very dumb. I can't see forward more than about 5 steps. And if you present me with a combo deck that does more than 5 steps, I'll go, yeah, I love playing that because I love combos. But with the amount of depth that I would need to maybe OTK someone, I very constantly miss it. Which is why I don't appear on duels that often. Because I'm very stupid, and I can't think that far ahead, and I miss it. And usually if I OTK someone, it's because I stumbled across it. Because that 5 step...
Hold on.
Because I've gone within 5 steps of the OTK. And I've gone, oh, there it is. But I could miss. Like, if it was 10 steps away, I'd probably miss it.
An obvious route. That's fair. Any mentions on honourable mentions on decks, let's say? It's not necessarily the best decks you've ever played, but like your favourite ones, not necessarily just performance.
It's been an interesting one. Like Cosmo True Draco is probably the most recent love deck. Otherwise, it's difficult to actually pan back that far. Of course, all the 60 card gumps that we were playing for a while was great fun. Anything with that grass screener. I had such a great testing group in that. Testing with JY.
Do you respond? No? Okay, next game.
Yeah, which is another reason why the channel died a death. Because I spent about 6 months testing Lightsworn and travelling with JY, who was of course on his Worlds run.
Yeah.
And I was playing his protected, coveted deck. I couldn't share that.
Yeah.
The only deck I was playing was a highly protected Lightsworn build. Because every time he would win an event, he would profile it, and the deck would change, and my deck would change with it. Therefore, all I could do was profile the same thing as him, which I occasionally did, but I couldn't release what I was playing.
Yeah, of course.
Because we would mutually agree on changes.
Yeah.
So that was the difficulty. Otherwise, people will kind of know the main ones. Like, of course, Macro Rabbit, which saw so many different incarnations and build changes. There were all sorts of fun things that I could do with Shadols as well. Like, I played Kaiju Shadol for a good event. There's so much creativity that you're able to have just because certain formats were the right level of speed. But honourable mentions is a bit of an awkward one for me because I'm struggling to remember some of them.
A little bit.
Anything with snow in it as well.
Oh, snow's insane. I just want that card back.
Yeah,
it can't come back, but it's so great. It's so great. And just whilst we're on this subject, slightly off topic, slightly still on topic. Shadols. What do you think of the new release? I'm
underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed.
When you read other headline cards like Ether. Even going as far back as what Grapha did for its own archetype, I just don't feel that the Shadols give a new lease on life to what was an old, almost unplayable deck. Because let's face it, outside of the little Shadol going second thing that people are doing in August, Shadol is dead. It's unplayable. It's so slow.
It says flip effect.
Yeah, you're setting cards, you win the die roll, and you go third. It's horrible. Billy said it about Yugioh. It's someone said, why aren't you playing Yugioh for this event? It's the best deck. And Billy leant forward and went, because I don't like going third.
Tells you a lot.
Yeah, and he played, Rabbit for that event instead. That was when Rabbit started to get hit again, and you started to see the death of that deck. That's the reason. It's just not good enough. The deck needs more acceleration and more ability to go first. And at the moment, it doesn't have it. The new stuff doesn't offer it. Quite frankly, and I never thought I'd say this when Shadol won the draw, if there is not another exclusive revealed in the deck, I will not be playing it.
That's fair. And I hope that they will. I hope that this sort of...
I want it to work.
This line they've got down with the water mender, right?
Yeah.
They've got to produce some more of those. I think maybe with a bit more interesting effects,
yeah.
A bit more relevant.
Yeah.
Maybe bring stuff in so that they don't need to necessarily flip to activate their effects. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But that's theory for another day, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So what we're going to do is we'll take a short break there. You guys will just see a snip in the video, and then we'll be right back.
Of course.
So guys, we're back with some beverages. Keep yourself hydrated.
Projecting at the camera is only so doable for 40 minutes at a time. I'll open cases, and the whole reason I don't do it anymore is I'll finish, my hands will ache, I'll be sweating, I'll be dried out, and then I'll get sick the next day. Opening a case for 2.5 hours in front of a camera is horrible.
It's
I'm getting those flashbacks here. This is a bit more engaging, at least.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the next subject I wanted to go on, and this is the reason we had the snip, guys, is just so we could have a bit of a chance to have a quick breather. I wanted to talk about your job. So, I mean, for me, like I know you're on quite a good level. We spent a fair amount of time together.
Of course.
Us and the Tuggers together. Shout out to all those guys.
Yeah, let's not talk
they
about
know who they are, but we shouldn't go into that. That's a little bit vulgar.
Every Yu-Gi-Oh player has a deep dark group chat that's probably regarded.
We
as
have more
team.
than one. Like we're in multiple.
It's great fun.
This is not Konami safe though, right? Certainly not child friendly. Anyway, so let's talk about your job.
Yeah.
So tell the viewers what you do.
So I technically this is a great kind of contravention in in meetings. I work for BP. Of course, everyone knows who BP is.
Well, anyone in the UK
Massive
knows.
energy entity. Sorry?
Are they in the US?
I'm almost certain. Massive.
They're everywhere else, right?
They know about it, but for a reason that I don't really want to address in this video.
No
I'm actually an what's referred to as an electric vehicle guru, a government initiative in Milton Keynes, the city that I live in the shopping centre. Long and short, I work for a non-sales based brand neutral initiative for promoting the uptake and understanding of electric and plug-in hybrid cars.
The future of cars.
That's not the future, it's the present.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It's been a thing for years, so it's also very much promoting that understanding that it's not something that's very futuristic and requires a whole new level of understanding and transition across to. The real purpose of what I do is I'll have conversations with an individual who comes through the door of my centre. It's just a walk-in shop like anywhere else, but you can't buy anything.
Unless you got big cash.
Yeah, but we don't sell anything at all. I couldn't take your money at all. And the whole purpose of it is to take you from of a limited understanding, however much your limit may be, to B of understanding. Oh, okay, like this works now. Like I'm commuting 50 miles a day. Most cars do 120. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, it's going to completely do me. Oh, I'm travelling to see my parents once every 3 or 4 months. Oh, okay, every 2 hours I'm probably going to have to stop for 40 minutes. Well, I'm a hungry boy. I would do that for a McDonald's anyway. Well, guess what? I'm going to plug in. Job done.
Yeah, that's it. It keeps you going.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of my work and my passion. I was an electric car owner for 2 years. Unfortunately, just because of the amount of money it was costing me and the fact that I don't get paid very much, I did have to. I sold that off, and I'm back to driving combustion for the moment, but preaching the kind of the way of the Lord.
Still loves those electric cars. Every time we're going down the road and we go past something, he's like, know that.
Yeah.
He's talking to me. I don't know anything about cars, so I'm probably the worst person, but he still tells me about them anyway.
Yeah.
How good they are.
And that was why I applied for the job. So I was an owner for 2 years, and every time someone got in the car, I just tell them about it. And then I went, hey, it'd be really great if I could get paid to do this. So I applied to get paid to do that.
Makes sense. And this is like your new passion, right? Because I think this is one of the things, I mean, I don't know, again, if you want to discuss this in any kind of detail, but you mentioned potentially doing content along the lines of electric car industry, maybe down the line.
So I mean, it was an industry shift. So of course, I used to work in insurance when I was producing content. Had a bereavement in the family, which really kind of destroyed my ability to do that and feel comfortable in an office environment. And we looked for a new lease on life.
Yeah.
And that new lease was through the car that I was driving. It was, with respect, very nice car from my pay grade at the time. I was very proud of it, and then I ended up moving across to that space. I've now been doing electric car sales and electric car promotion for 2.5 years. So I moved to this centre and actually was one of the founding members of this centre in Milton Keynes. You can look it up, the Electric Vehicle Experience Centre in Milton Keynes.
Just don't turn up at his store.
No, please don't. It's a little weird. It's happened. I've been.
That's what Henman does, right? Sits outside.
Yeah. So one of the members in our group chat actually ended up coming to the store in the shopping centre. Didn't come in to greet me at all. Sat outside my window, ate an ice cream, stared me dead in the eyes the whole time while I was working, while I was greeting customers.
That is Henman.
And then left.
And anyone who knows what language was that?
Yeah, like a very large man comes and sits outside your store, eating an ice cream. The ice cream is like dribbling down his beard.
Yeah.
He's like voracious.
He's a pretty hairy guy.
Yeah.
And anyone who's in the UK and European team knows who Henman is. They know how.
Puts the cone into his mouth like there's a whole hot dog.
There's people out there who pay to see that.
Yeah. I kind of dug it, you know. But I digress. And then I departed there. I worked for, of course, everyone knows Elon Musk's Tesla for 6 months.
You had the book in your bag, right? Carry that around with you.
Yeah, I actually have it with me right now.
Oh,
it's like a whole book of like trade secrets is in there.
Still hasn't given up.
Yeah, well, no. I can't explain on camera.
We won't go there.
Yeah. And then moved back to that business, and now. Long story short, I've been talking to people about electric for 2.5 years, and that gives me a whole kind of level of knowledge. I know pretty much every single electric car on the market. If it's got a plug, I know about it, I know what it does, I can tell you everything you need to know about it. whatever it may be.
And that's where you're channeling all of your passion.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There are other things that I'd rather be doing.
Like Warhammer.
I mean, that's a hobby we'll get to very shortly. However, it pays the bills. And in doing so, it's a job that I don't have to research at all, because I'm enthusiastic about it enough that I kind of pick the information up on my own.
For sure.
I'm not obsessed. I don't rap and rave about it all the time. It just happens to be what I do 40 hours a week. And I'm interested enough that I occasionally, when I'm sat at home, I'll pull up a news website and read an article for 30 seconds. And congratulations, I've done my work research for a week.
More than some people are doing with their job, and that's how you get successful. So what I wanted to do is, whilst we're on that line, we'll go on to kind of hobbies and passions outside of Yu-Gi-Oh! And outside of electric cars.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of like flip and flow, similar to like how almost like YouTube has always been a hobby for me, and when that has its rise in my priorities, that's when you see those returns to form and rises and falls. As a person, I inherit this from my father. I'm a very obsessive compulsive individual. When I'm interested in something, I will obsess over it. So when I'm interested in YouTube, I will do that to the exclusion of all else. No one will hear from me in the evenings. I'll produce content, I'll edit it, and I'll go to bed while it's rendering. And I'll wake up in the morning and it'll be done. The computer.
The dedication required.
Yeah. Other times, so you referenced Warhammer. I have a particular interest in the properties of Games Workshop. Currently slamming my way through an audiobook on one of those. Sometimes I have a whole dedicated workstation in my room. And you can actually see a lot of content about that on my Instagram at Jamiethekid00. And like for months at a time, I will work on vast projects that I'll spend inordinate sums of money on, and then I'll fall off. So I currently have a 100-man project which I'm working on, which is currently about 40 men deep, and it's still sitting on my table and sat there for about 5 months. Because I moved away from that, I did a little bit of YouTube, I got really into League of Legends, and now I'm back on Yu-Gi-Oh! For the upcoming YCS after going to Kent
season
and being reinvigorated, knowing that I've got London and then Madrid.
And London's always
not Madrid,
insane.
sorry, Milan.
Yeah, and London's going to be insane anyway. Like, I mean, we're recording this a little bit before. This is the week of. It'll probably go up before the event. Just to sort of fill us in.
Yeah, of course.
But if anyone's considering going to London and it's last minute, go. Go, 100%. Absolutely awesome. And I really want to branch out and maybe do some more YCSs, potentially next year. I don't think I can afford like all of them, but maybe do one or two. I definitely want to hit Euros next year. But 100%, if you haven't been to a YCS yet or any of those type of events, for sure you have to go. It's not just about the Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. Like, you have a pretty insane time out there. You get to see all these faces you see on stream, which is insane. I mean, for me it was really weird. Yeah. Now that I know a few more of them personally, it's a little bit less weird.
I mean, during the golden age, like when of course, during the time when I was with Rescue Capitalists, like we wouldn't be able to cross events.
Yeah.
Like, people would be coming out to events to meet us.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Okay, cool. So we'll have a look through. I've got a few like short questions that I wanted to ask you. Just so people can learn a little bit more about you as a person.
Yeah. I mean, some of these are kind of funny. But...
a little bit weird. So, first thing, Costa or Starbucks?
Like, don't even come to me with that dirt water. Like, Starbucks is 100% worth.
See, do you know what? You're gonna argue with my wife over this. She's like die-hard Costa.
I quite frankly don't understand why. Like,
you got like what you got.
Like divorcing.
Yeah.
She's incorrect.
Whoa, hold up. She liked you.
Yeah.
She liked you.
She is fundamentally incorrect.
Oh, okay, sure.
You know I deal in absolutes.
Absolutes
like,
are nothing.
Like, usually my response is something along the lines of, well, you better like bin her off and like start again. Like, scrap of her parts.
Yeah, but she could probably knock you out.
Yeah, to be fair. South Africa would be surprised.
Yeah,
like.
that's true. Favourite music?
So this is a weird one. Like, I love being asked what my favourite music is because I like plateau and shift and change all the time. So like I said, I really got into League of Legends recently. I'm like absolutely bumming the music they produce from that. That comes from me at one point being a really big Against the Current fan. So if anyone's familiar with Against the Current, of course their lead singer is Chrissy Constanza, who is the lead singer on Legends Never Die and Phoenix, the world songs for 2017 and 2019 respectively. League of Legends, two incredibly good songs that could really.
For someone who's not familiar, what sort of genre is that?
Like I'm really bad with genres though, in terms of phrases.
Like anything you could relate it to?
Like I genuinely couldn't. I don't recommend looking it up. Like,
Okay, look it up.
I never understood the labels. I've never been able to pick out what, like... Of course, I understand the difference in sounds. Like, I'm an Escape the Fate fan, but at the same time, I'm a Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco fan. And I understand Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco are one genre. Escape the Fate is a much heavier genre.
Yeah.
But I address music in its weighting, almost.
Yeah.
In how light it is and how heavy it is.
Yeah.
And that's about the only way I differentiate.
You know, that's probably not a bad thing, so you don't get sucked into these listen.
Yeah. So that's always been the awkward bit. I've been like, I have a whole palette of different things that I'll listen to. Like when I went to YCS Prague, my soundtrack of YCS Prague was Ed Sheeran. Whereas my soundtrack of YCS Milan was Bring Me the Horizon.
Okay, definitely contrasts and stuff there.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much anymore, actually. Not too far.
No,
I don't think, but definitely back in the day.
But
for sure.
I will fixate on certain genres for a long time. So like I have an album, a playlist titled Plane Journey from when I went to Euros, and that contains 3 songs from League of Legends, 5 songs from Bring Me the Horizon, and then 2 songs from the K-pop group Twice, which.
K-pop?
Yeah, like I'm not very interested at all. I have about 4 K-pop songs, period, on my phone. But that's the variety in that playlist alone. Oh, and the first song is All Time Low by John Bellion featuring Stormzy.
Stormzy?
Yeah, and I enjoy a bit of Stormzy as well. I enjoy a little bit of rap.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I like anything. But like, there are very few things that I'm really that I'm not very into.
You know what? As someone who plays an instrument, I can appreciate.
Like,
it.
I'm not into your like Tekashi 6ix9's Ugly God, like.
Yeah, you like music.
Like, don't get me wrong. There are some, like, I have friendship groups where I will be about
course.
that, and if it comes on in a club, like I know it.
Yeah.
But I won't recreation. I won't go out of my way to listen to it.
Yeah. So it's there. It's good.
Yeah, but if someone's like, name your favourite groups, it's usually Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
Like, I was an MCR fan, everyone was.
Yeah.
I grew up in that era, and I will forever be stuck in it.
That's fair. Okay, cool. So along those similar lines, let's talk TV and movies.
So, TV is a difficult one because I never watch any television.
Do you know what? I'm much the same.
At all. I don't have a Netflix subscription, I don't have a television in my room. I'm like a YouTube content, I will observe long form YouTube content in exchange for TV. So for example, at one point, like it was the daily routine to watch vloggers for a good while. And I'm not on about like your David Dobrik's and that sort of hype vlogging, like David Dobrik, Jake Logan Paul situations. I was like a Casey Neistat, then Optic Hex, of course CEO of a major esports organisation who's since departed from that org now. Like almost like lifestyle vlogging, but not hype. Like very literal people, and like I would try and go, oh, this is a successful person. I want to replicate their success.
See what they're doing.
Not some like hype monster. Like that's why, with respect, and I'm kind of probably get a bit shade here, and I don't need to intend to throw shade. That's why I don't watch very many Team Sam videos. Or like all of Simo's videos, because high energy is my thing.
Yeah,
like
that's no disrespect to them.
No, like those guys are incredible. They're killing it. Like I love them both. They both know this, but like their content like isn't for me. I'm very like not flat delivery, but measured delivery, high grade.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they're low grade. Just like I enjoy.
But like intense focus on specific things.
Yeah. I just enjoy calmness, quite frankly.
Just chilling
like I
out.
said, if I can podcast it, it's good for me.
That's fair. And in terms of movies, so is this much the same? You don't do many movies, or?
Yeah, like I'll watch my hype titles. So, for example, like I'll watch every Marvel movie as and when that comes out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Midnight release, because I want to be able to go on social media the next morning. Star Wars, I will go see that midnight release. Like I'm a big fan of my older stuff. Like so, my favorite film trilogy of all time will always be Back to the Future.
Okay, fair.
That's a huge one for me. I endorse a lot of psychological films, so you're like Butterfly Effects, Mementos, things like that. I'm trying to remember what I was about recently.
On that note, have you seen the new Joker movie?
I haven't. It's actually
Have to see it.
I'm not remotely interested.
Honestly, go watch it.
Yeah.
I promise you, if you like your psychological stuff,
I feel like it's a different avenue, but I won't go too far down that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's a story that's been told far too often now. I think the cinema really leans too heavily into Joker. It's like Suicide Squad. I feel like Joker could have not been in it.
Yeah, it's a whole.
Oh no, I know it's different, but I feel like loads of things go. This film's kind of like B players, but it's got the Joker in it. and they're like to try they wave that flag.
I hope you watch it. I think you'll change your mind. But that's fine. That's
yeah. And then the other one, which I was endorsing because I didn't want it to die, and I'm really worried it has, is Elita Battle Angel. That was a huge film.
I didn't go to see it, and I really wanted to.
It's honestly incredible, and it doesn't get enough attention.
Yeah, I think it's one of them like for us weeby folk. Kind of appreciate.
Like genuine, like I dropped anime for a good I watched Elite just before I got back into going to Expo and things like that. So like I had dropped anime for 3 years. I hadn't watched a single thing.
Yeah, but that love never leaves.
Like my favorite anime is from 2012. Like it's the anime that my namesake is based on. Called Soul Eater, if anyone wants to look into that. But genuinely, it's just a very well put together piece of cinema, and I don't feel it's appreciated.
Maybe I should go.
Anyway,
I should check it out. Right. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. We're gonna do one last one before another quick short break again, because I feel like some of the bits that we're going to talk about on the end might be a little bit lengthier again. So the last one is your favourite food.
So I'm a very fussy eater. I don't have very many palates, but like if someone's ever like, what is your go-tos? It's not very highbrow, but there's this absolutely divine mix that they do at TGI Fridays. Okay. I'm a real connoisseur. I'm a real kind of barbecue sauce connoisseur. Okay. And that's not in like the horrible reason. I would just really appreciate it above most sauces. Yeah. And they do this absolutely divine kind of like Monterey Jack barbecue sauce that they only hold in. Jack Daniels barbecue sauce. Okay, yeah. They hold only in TGI's.
Because they used to have it in Harvesters, right? And then they got rid of it completely, and now they.
And they do this sesame seed chicken starter dish. Oh. Which is actually insane, and then they do the same thing in a burger, and it's the messiest thing on the planet. Like, you cannot go there to romance anyone because you will literally be like your hands will just like you'll be pulling up walls after you've eaten it.
But if you get that out of the way, I mean, you can deal with anything. Yeah, if you're on a date and they can handle that, they can handle anything.
Like honestly, if you can handle me in my absolute swamp thing, you
can handle it. And to be honest with you, I mean, my appreciation of food is how we got like this.
I build
somehow. Somehow.
I dress baggy and wear cardigans on purpose. I'm disguising
the little bumpies getting over time. Cool, well, we'll go to that quick break, and these guys again, we'll see another snap of the video, and then afterwards we'll return.
See you in a second.
Okay, guys, so anyone who has followed us this far, thank you very much.
Congratulations.
We're extremely tired as well. Like, extremely tired. This is late night.
It's 20 past 10, we've just played locals. I was in work today. It's my last day of work before YCS. And I've also been testing every single night for the YCS. So I've been sleeping at 2 in the morning. I'm currently on 6 hours sleep today. Woke up at 8. We are deep into the day.
And when you're morbidly obese like me, you don't sleep anyway.
Like days,
sleep back.
Days are F.
But yeah, it's late at night, we're still here. As you can hear, there's plenty of noise in the background.
Yeah, plenty of other people are here.
That's our Magic players, local Magic players. It's crazy they ran this place. Definitely can't complain. It's good for the local scenes and that kind of thing, and certainly got respect for that game as well, even though I don't play. There we go. So anyway, I wanted to just do a last bit before we sort of wrap up and discuss like our outro and talk about the bits and bobs that we do at the end of videos. So I just wanted to talk firstly about tips for players.
So, tips for players, this is a few stages, so it's probably going to be another long section.
That's fine, we'll go for it.
So, my kind of parts have been, you need to surround yourself with a variety of players, and those kind of main categories that you need to put them down into it. Like, there's 2 big ones you need to have in every play. You need to have an innovator, because if you find yourself stagnating and find yourself behind the curve, if you're going to be attending competitive events, it's often not good enough to just be kind of fairly consistent at the same deck from the last situation. You need to have someone who challenges you, who's going to look at every single card in your main board when you're working through it and go, why is this in here? Can you think of something better? Or is this card better? So at the moment, I currently have a very intelligent testing partner who is doing that for me. We will constantly kind of propose cards to each other, and we won't just go, "Oh, that's good." Every time, like you would have seen him on my channel, Ahmed Mustafa, phenomenally innovative player in my opinion. Every single time he proposes a card to me, I will ask him one word and one word only, which is justify. And if I don't feel he justifies it correctly, I will say, "Well, surely this does it better." And if he can't win that argument, then obviously it's not a card worth playing. Similarly, he'll do the exact same thing to me. Why do you want to play it? Is it just because you like it? Because chances are if you like a card too much, you probably shouldn't play it, because your view is askew.
Of course.
You should play whatever is statistically statistically better than it. So for example, at the moment, I have a difference between 2 very good cards, which I don't really want to discuss at the moment.
Yeah, of course.
It's not reasonable for me to do so. But I like one because it has a funny interaction. with another card in my side deck.
Sure.
And that interaction is like game breaking. But again, it requires those two cards to come together. In games 2 and 3, not game 1. The other card is consistent throughout, but doesn't have that one funny interaction. And they do the same thing. But one allows one of them is going to put me in a position in which my hand may be worse off.
Okay.
It's not as playable, whereas the other card is playable. Every single situation that comes along, it just doesn't have that slight boom. So I'm clinging to that, but I should probably take it out. I should probably change it back. The other type of player you always need to have in your circle is someone who is far and away better than you in every way possible at this game.
When you're someone like me, that's not hard.
I mean,
like, everyone's better than me. That's
so my big thing that I lent into was I didn't have this for my 2012 national top, where I played Macro Rabbit. However, the kind of third man in this was I researched. I did everything I could to learn from better players at Rabbit than I was. So the number one player at that time, in my opinion, was a player called Yugioh, a player from the US who produced YouTube content on every single one of his tops to great detail that I copied. My style is just his style.
Okay, sure.
And is one of the players that I greatly regret not meeting and ever interacting with.
So if you're out there watching.
Yeah, he won't be. He quit ages ago, became a teacher. I researched into that. What I did have, however, in 2013 was a player who played Mermail at my locals. James, this goes out to you, who was not RJ.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Not the thumb.
No,
Jab
not the giant baby. not the head from Necroface. What I did have was a player who was so good at Mermail and so good at the Mermail mirror that I sat in the hotel bar with him for 4 hours and I probably won 2 games. He crushed me, but every time I got better and learned a mistake and made a mistake that I would have otherwise made at the main event. And what I then ended up having was I went to the event, my 2 losses were random rogue decks I don't even remember the nature of, and I crushed every single Mermail mirror with the exception of Jake Quincy in top 16, and everyone knows who Jake is. I crushed every Mermail mirror, and I crushed every single Fire Fist matchup because the deck was a free win. I understood the deck back to front because I played against enough of it at my locals. But I came up, I played against honestly one of the best Mermail players in the room, and I would then sit down against Mermail players and go, okay, they have these cards, they're obviously going to make this line of play. And then they wouldn't because they were just bad, quite frankly. Back in the day, I had this attitude, like, if you weren't making the correct line of play, it was because you were bad, you didn't deserve to win that match. I was going to make the correct line of play because I know what you should have done. If you weren't as advantageous, I would crush you. Quite frankly, that was the way that worked.
And on that note, actually, this is something that you always said to me about that mentality of going into games and just assume you must get it into your head that the other person is not good enough to be playing.
Yeah.
Like, they are not good enough, they don't deserve to beat you. Like, all of
a lot
those
of professional players can seem kind of like we can see like pricks. Like, quite frankly, we're horrible people in game, in events. And I'm not going to call myself a professional anymore, but I still carry that same mentality into it. If you sit down at a table against your favourite player, or against a player that you know, or a name, you're automatically going to tilt yourself. You're going to make mistakes, and you've sat down at the table finding a reason to say that you've lost.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're now 80% of the way to losing the game.
Sure.
Because a lot of it is a mental game. Every game you should be sitting down opposite your opponent and not being disrespectful, but you should have no reason and no idea as to why they are walking away the victor. You are beating that individual. You are the best player in the room. You've just come along with your superior deck idea that you've tested and you're happy with. You need to respect every deck you play against because that's what you've just done all your testing for. You respect its strength and how to counter it. If you don't feel you can counter every meta deck in the room, why are you playing the deck you've chosen?
Sure.
So therefore, you need to have that superiority complex to a degree. You cannot auto-tilt. You tilt yourself, congratulations, you've just done the job your opponent has tried to do. Because people are going to try and tilt you. If you make it easy for them...
And especially you people who know they're good. They know they sit down and they go, I've got you.
I'd sit down opposite people in my prime and they'd be like, oh my god, you're so-and-so.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, great. You just thrown it.
You knew you won that match pretty much like almost every
Yeah,
time.
and I usually did.
That's fair.
No disrespect to any fan who played me.
Yeah.
But people did it at locals for a good while still. They'd sit down opposite me in like 2018 and be like, oh, you're going to win, Jay. I was awful. Like, I was playing just like whatever cobbled together trash I could bring. But I had that auto tilt.
Yeah, it's one of those things as well. Like you have to, like I mean, for me personally, like I remember playing like the first few times, and I was like, oh man, he's gonna. And I think the first time I beat you, you're playing like Spiral. It was after Spiral had been like killed, and I beat you, and I was like, he shits and pisses like the rest of us. And after then, we've had some pretty good games back and forth. But some games where we both do really bad, we both play something awful.
I'm not good at this game. Frankly.
But I mean, in terms of level, but you're someone who can still go top an event. I'm not that kind of level yet. I think I'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually. But I think getting that out of your head, just knowing that everyone else shits and pisses like the rest of you, and then again that mentality.
Like, no one in this game is a celebrity. Everyone's going back to their middling job.
Yeah.
But some of them get to put on a fancy T-shirt for a weekend and call themselves really good at a card game.
And no disrespect. I mean, anyone that's that good at anything, there's some level of respect. But they're normal people.
Like, if you're that sick of a human being, you're probably not playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like, to a degree. Like, I've met some people. Like, I've met some players in Yu-Gi-Oh who are doing very well for themselves in life, not just financially, but like high quality of life. But like, you kind of get the idea. That, no one is a Superman.
Yeah.
To a degree.
That's fair. And any more tips along those lines for players that you'd like to add on? I mean, I'm sure you can go on for
Those have been my big ones. Like, don't beat yourself. Oh, and another one is, which is a very common one, which I impart to you guys a lot, which is a lot of people, when they're losing a game, even if it's just game one, will sit there in a half, and all they're doing is they're sitting there going, oh, well, I got evenly matched last. They're finding, I can't remember who attributed this, but a lot of people will get one blowout, and then they'll sit there spending their next 2 minutes of their opponent comboing, which is free time for their mental game, all they're going to sit there and do is figuring out what to say to their friends to tell them how they lost.
Yeah.
We've all done it. I do it when I tilt hard. You'll sit there and you got evenly matched. Well, I lost because you drew your one evenly match.
As soon as the game finishes.
You're sick at the game, mate. Yeah. Or you can sit there spending the next 2 minutes regaining and finding a way back in. Because when you do then draw that card off of the top, if they're not going to game you but you've been blown out, you haven't spent the last 2 minutes working out how a series of cards can get you back in. And then you then draw a card and you're like, well, of course, and you're still tilted and you're not going to get the back. Like, there were so many situations with like Light Sworn, for example, when I was playing, when we had Soul Charge in the deck, and I'd get blown out and I'd like find it or I'd have it, and I'd be like, I haven't thought about how I get back. Like, I don't know, figure it out, and you're flustered. Don't.
Yeah.
Like, you're just spending 2 minutes ruining the event for yourself and not getting any further along. And then maybe you're going to game 2 and you're like, oh,
and that goes back to the mentality, right? Of, you know, don't let yourself get tilted by those things.
Yeah.
Don't, like, think about it.
Yeah, like if I can be a dick for a second, when I came to see you at the end of locals, you were sat there at the end of your round 3, you've not had a great event. And you were just like, sick of this deck. It's a horrible event. If you were talking to me about like this at the YCS, we'd be having a conversation.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, you wasted your time coming here.
Yeah.
Like,
which, to be fair, and in fairness, the last few weeks it's actually been great.
Yeah,
and I've had one bad night, and now it's like.
But like, I saw the game state. But if you'd had an additional turn, like I would have had no faith in you winning that game.
Yeah.
Because
I'd already put myself.
You'd lost to yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that's an example case study I can give. You were upset about the game state because of the top event. Like people will go 0-2 and top events.
Yeah.
But if you go 0-2 and you're like, oh great, I'm trash. You're never going to do it.
Yeah, of course.
Run that gauntlet. You are sick at this game. You've just had some unfortunate interactions.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, and any further to that one?
I think I should really put a lid on it.
That's cool. Okay, we'll end there. We're going to do another snip again now, guys.
We can carry through. But,
you think we can go?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to put a lid on like that section.
Okay, that's fair.
Finding things.
Okay, cool. So before we go into our outro, the last thing I wanted to talk about was any tips for Yugitubers, both experienced and starting out.
Yeah, of course, my game has kind of changed. To be successful the way I was successful is no longer a factor anymore. My big kind of key characteristic I lean into, whatever you choose to produce, is consistency. You need to keep your audience coming back for more. Ultimately, if you get loads of subscribers, that doesn't guarantee you're going to get the views.
Sure.
For example, I maybe get of an audience following of about 1/20th of my subscriber count per video, like when I upload. You could find individuals like at his prime, I've forgotten his name now, Asian Eyes. His videos, while he might have 150,000 subscribers at one point, would get about 1/100th of his subscriber following actually watching it. So he was getting about the same level of success I was getting, about 1,000 to 1,500 views. But he'd have occasional spikes. And your sub count make those spikes larger. It's that consistency you need. Also work on your tagging and work on your thumbnail and work on your video's appearance. Your YouTube thumbnails should be consistent and distinctive to set you out in a sub box.
Sure.
They should also be consistent and distinctive to set you out in an advert lineup. For example, my edge was all of my thumbnails would always include physical cards, because you guaranteed that when you went into that deck profile, you weren't going to see a dueling book profile, which is all the rage from entities like my competitors in the form of like Rufioh at the time. Who I consider to be a consistent competitor, who produced very consistent deck profiles at the time, but his were all dueling. And I felt like I had the edge because it was a physical.
And certain people don't want to see that, they want to see the physical.
Exactly that, exactly.
Most people prefer.
Yeah, and you want to have your title tagging, you want to have your consistent meta tagging as well. That's very, very strong to get you to the top of the list. And usually, when you upload a video, search it.
Yeah.
And see if your main tag words have come up. If they haven't, you need to change your tags.
Sure.
If that makes sense. The other ones have always been like your consistency of message. So you need to find your edge in the industry and really stick to it. So my consistency and my edge was that competitive play. There was a niche market for competitive players in the industry, and I went for it, and giving a very consistent long-form message and helping people improve. And I feel like that was what I delivered on for a good long while. Nowadays, with the advent of lifestyle vloggers like your kind of David Dobrik's and your Logan Pauls and people like that, it's very key to see those influences in individuals like Team Samurai. In that high energy content that appeals to he's got a fantastic dichotomy that I really admire about him. He's got a massively high energy that appeals to that youthfulness in the game, and those young people coming in who are fans of your lifestyle vloggers, like your Team Phase, and the polls and whatnot. What you'll also have is he's got a large amount of either his own competitive insights or the insights of competitive players that he works with consistently, like Gay and Jesse. So he gets my market and high energy all at once in a way that I can never compete with. Similarly, Simo has a huge amount of energy that he brings to that consistency of message. So he's got high quality content and energy together, appealing again to that dichotomous market.
I mean, I remember coming back into the game like, much less Sam, more so Simo. I mean, goes without saying, one of the biggest Yugioh really, really critical. And when I came back to the game, me understanding the current game, getting to, and it was because of that quality of delivery and message.
Exactly.
And that certainly does.
Yeah, and then your production values. You need to find a level that is consistent for you. You don't want it to be too trash. My thing that I found very consistent is audio is king. You need to sound clear and project a good voice. And if you're sick, don't record. Like I always try to avoid recording when I'm sick. Because people are more than likely going to listen to you more than they're going to watch. Like, no one stares at a screen and watches you put down cards for 20 minutes.
They're doing something else.
They're going to do something else. They're going to listen to you. I know, I sometimes forget what Simo looks like. Because I will listen to him. I won't watch him.
Yeah.
Because it's him sat in a chair like, what's good, YouTube? And like, I don't need to see that. I need to hear that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But visuals need to count. If you are going to make your visual content strong, you need to have good assets. Trying to think my way through it as well. Like it's niche market in this consistency. Find you, do you, and be consistent. And also the only other thing I can lean into, which no one wants to see, and I feel will hurt a lot of people, is entitlement. And I've done it, and I'm never going to name names, but everyone has done it at some point. You get a lot of people who, regardless of size, I've seen YouTubers of 900 subscribers all the way up to 100,000 subscribers, who've whinged and whined that they feel they're entitled to more, entitled to cooperation from Konami, even though they've never reached out to them in their life. They just expect things to be dropped upon them.
Yeah.
They expect more subscribers to just come out of thin air, even though they're not producing anything of value. They're producing consistent content, but they're not going anywhere. If you need to ask for something, chances are you're not going out there and taking it.
Yeah.
If you want collaboration, reach out. Don't expect people to come to you.
Sure.
If you want better subscribers, find out why people aren't watching your content. Chances are, some of those negativity comments that you're probably disregarding because haters gonna hate, if they're consistent, it's probably because you're missing something.
Yeah. And it may be because someone's genuinely like wants to see that, like they like something about your channel, but not everything.
You know what's fantastic, which I did for a good while, is ask your subscribers for content. At the end of every video, go, what do you want to see next, guys? Leave it in the comment section down below. Because congratulations, you've just got yourself a focus group of people who want to see this, and then they're going to come back and watch it.
Invested, right?
Yeah. And then you don't have to have ideas of your own, because people are going to tell you what they want to see.
Free content.
Yeah. All you have to then do is do it, and congratulations, those subscribers said they want to see it. So they're going to come and watch it if you make it.
Yeah.
Build it and they will come. And if they tell you they want it built, then they're going to come all the more.
It's true.
Easy.
Words of wisdom there.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I want to leave that on.
Cool, that's fair. And that was very good. Well, we're going to go to our outro now, but thank you very much for taking the time to do this.
My absolute pleasure.
I know we're buddies and all of that, but
you
know, I appreciate you taking the time. You don't have to do it. This is your own time.
I've broken into a sweat, my throat hurts. All I can think about is like the McDonald's I'm going to batter on the drive home.
Goes with a whole bottle of water and he's still dehydrated.
Bro, like this has been trashed. I need another.
Well, we are now on our run down to YCS London.
Yes.
Really excited about lots of eating, probably lots of drinking, lots of carbs.
I'm not even going for the YCS, I'm going for the expo.
Go for the boys.
So I will be in the local club like every single night. I'll be showing up to day one, completely hungover.
And Nando's.
Bro, there's no Nando's nearby.
We'll find one.
Yeah. We haven't hit one in ages.
We'll find one or we'll find a pizza or something. Anyway, we won't go to our advertisement of our favourite
That was my
restaurants.
number one goal actually. When I got big on if I got big on YouTube, I wanted to get sponsored by Nando's.
Sponsored by Nando's.
That was my one.
Spicy chicken for spicy
you should
carbs.
probably just ask me that. Like, what company would you ever want to work with? I want to be sponsored by
Well, you
Nando's.
answered the own question.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, again, thank you very much for checking in. Big shout out to Mark Manascrew, who is over there serving our Magic friends.
Yeah, big thanks to hosting us. He's redeveloped and moved stores to a fantastic new space that's given us the opportunity to record content like this, consistent deck profiles, and given us a massive space for play that's not covered in wasps and exposed
like
to
that was crazy
sunlight.
before.
Yeah. So like big shout out.
You can hear him shouting in the background.
Big shout out to Manascrew. Check them out.
And his links will be down in the description if you do want to check those out. Yeah, again, big thank you to you. Any shouts before we go? Anything you want to leave on?
No, because otherwise I'll be shouting out literally everyone who's ever in the community. But thank you so much to you guys for sticking around for so long. I hope this has been insightful. I hope you all enjoyed. And I guess we'll see you guys next time for some more Yu-Gi-Oh related content.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.
Peace out. Bye-bye. So I do my octave again?
I'm afraid that's all we have time for in this video. If by chance you haven't had enough of listening to me waffle at you through a video about a children's card game, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are on the screen, or if you're feeling really lazy, you can click the links in the description. While you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content too. It'll make me smile, I promise. And who can ask for more than that? Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.